Hey everybody, how you doing? It is Mr. Bookman, and I will be reading The Call of the Swamp by David, Cali, and Marco Soma. Please enjoy. The Call of the Swamp. When parents found him, they had no children, and they had given up hope that they would ever have any. The doctors had been clear. It's impossible, they said. You can't have children. So when the couple found a newborn at the edge of a swamp, it seemed like a gift from heaven, and they paid no attention to the fact that he had gills like a fish. They didn't know if he had been abandoned or if he had bad or had lost his parents. But it doesn't matter. It didn't matter because he had found a new mom and dad. They called him Boris. Boris grew up. It didn't matter that his eyes were bigger than anyone else. He played, eat, laughed just like all children do. He learned how to ride a bike and how to climb trees. Then he went to school to learn a lot of other useful things. And some, unless things too. Years went by, and you could say that they were happy years, or at least they weren't unhappy. Then one day, quite unexpected, it happened. The wind was blowing and the air had a salty smell that Boris had forgotten, or maybe had never really known. A scent buried away in the depths of his memory, one he had smelled when he was small. The scent of the swamp. Boris found himself wondering what his life would have been like if he had stayed at the swamp. Why did they take me home, Mom? Because we love you, she replied. But why didn't you leave me there where I was? Because you could have died, his dad said. And so many questions whirled around inside his head. He was really happy. Was the life he had the one he really wanted, or was it what other people wanted for him? Boris could not sleep. He woke up in the dead of night feeling like he was suffocating, and he was thirsty, always thirsty. Early one morning, Boris left the house. He walked and walked. It was only his feet felt wet that he knew he had arrived at the swamp. He had followed the scent. Boris realized that he had been living a life that he did not belong to him, in a world that was not his own. His world was the swamp. His scent was the scent of the swamp. He should have been living with other creatures who had gills like he did. Boris had never imagined that anyone else like him existed. A lot of creatures living in the swamp had gills and big eyes like he did. He found out that they liked the same thing. Boris laughed with them like he had never laughed before. He thought he had found a new family, his real family. His mom and dad hadn't forgotten him, though they often went to the swamp to left messages for him hanging from the trees. The messages never said, "Please come home." They simply said, "If you're happy where you're at, then we're happy too." How much are we really like? How much are we really like? Who look like us? It's hard to say. After a while, Boris started to notice differences between himself and the others who lived in the swamp. They didn't eat the same thing as he did, and they talked in different ways. They laughed differently too. Suddenly you missed the smell of home. It wasn't any scent in particular. It was more like a kind of homesickness, a feeling that seemed to tickle and prickle inside his nose, a feeling that brought back back happy memories. So Boris left his new family. Maybe he thought it was just me. Maybe I didn't belong anywhere. Maybe that's why I don't have a family. With the thought, he sunk into the swamp and walked along the bottom until he was lost. Down at the bottom of the swamp, Boris found lots of bottles. They looked empty at first, but no. Inside each was something small than a note. All of the notes said, if you're happy, we are happy. Then we're happy too. How much like us do those we'd love to be? The question darted around inside Boris's head like a little fish. His mom and dad had wanted him even though they didn't have gills. It didn't matter that their son didn't look like them. Maybe our family is simply the ones we love and the ones who love us back. Thinking about these questions, Boris felt left swamped. He paused for a moment to breathe in the swamp scent once more. Then he began to walk towards town. Well, I guess he was going to head back to the family that took him in. Just think if somebody found you by a swamp and you lived in a swamp. That would be totally something out of the blue, but hey, well, things happen like that, I guess. You ever think that way? Let me know with a thumbs up if you ever thought that way. Well, everybody, hope all of you enjoyed this book reading, and if you did, can you give it a big thumbs up? Smash that thumbs up button. Can you do that? If you're new and you came along this book reading, can you hit that red subscribe button down below and subscribe to my channel and check out my other book readings I got? I got plenty, so feel free to check them out. Also, hit that notification bell. Whenever I upload, you'll be notified. But until my next book reading, they call me Mr. Bookman. And this book reading is over. Have a good one. Take care, everybody, and thanks for watching.